And hope that's okay. So while we're waiting on people to join, don't forget to go to coopedup.com, cooped up, and I put fun stuff on there occasionally. And follow me on Instagram at I'm cooped up on Instagram. And that's my handle also on TikTok. On the TikToks, even though I don't do anything on TikTok, I don't know why anyone would follow me there. So, um, but yeah, hope you're doing well. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you to the veterans out there for service to our country, for your dedication, all of that kind of stuff. That is a job that I could not do, but I appreciate the you for doing it. Actually, in high school, I wasn't planning on telling the story; it just came to my mind. Hey, Mama! In high school, so my senior year at McAllen High School, every student was required to take this test called the ASVAB test, which is an acronym for like Armed Services Battery Assessment of Tests or something like that. I may have gotten that right, actually. And basically, they make everyone take it so that if people who may not have normally decided what their future was going to be, the military might have been part of their future, they could take it, right? And they didn't want to, no one had a choice, you had to take it. So I took it and I got the highest grade in the entire school. Like I scored the highest in my whole class of like 900 kids, 1,000 kids, something like that. I had the highest ASVAB score in McAllen High School that year, at least. And all of the military people were all over me, calling my dad, calling me constantly. Even once I'd already been admitted to SMU on a scholarship and all that kind of stuff. And even once I was at SMU, they were still hounding me, coming to campus, trying to talk to me. And it was specifically the Navy. They wanted me to be a nuclear engineer, which at that time, by the way, I was so country, I said nuclear still. I did not say nuclear. I said nuclear. So I was going to be a nuclear engineer. No. And finally, and I hadn't come out yet, and I didn't even know to say that. At this point, I'd have been like, bitch, I'm a homo. And they'd have been like, peace out. Not anymore, but back in the day, they would have. Because this was 1993. And instead, I got out. I mean, they were literally hounding me constantly, throwing like we'll pay for you to do all of this. We'll pay for your college. You have to do this. You'll go in at like senior officer rank, like all this like crazy stuff now. I just did not want to do that. And to be a nuclear engineer just sounds horrible to me. But I have other friends who did it, and like I have a friend, my friend Brendan is went and that they paid for him to be like a cranial facial surgeon, and he's doing very well in San Antonio now as a cranial facial surgeon. And I don't even think he's in the military anymore. I think he's out, and they just paid for stuff. I have many friends. I have my an attorney friend here who's the same thing, paid for his college. It's great. Just it was not for me. But finally, the way I got out of it is I finally was like, fine, just tell me, let's talk some, right? And they were like, have you ever had asthma or an asthma attack? Well, I had been diagnosed at that point with like allergy-induced asthma, which I actually don't think I have, but I think I'm just out of shape and have bad allergies. But I was like, I told them that, and they're like, well, when would you last have a problem with that? And I was like, I don't know, like 6 months ago. And they're like, oh, you're out. So fake asthma, basically. It's like the Trump bone spurs. Fake asthma is what got me out of military service. Although I wasn't being called to military service. They just really, really wanted me there. God, man, it's one of those sliding doors moments. You ever think about like if I would have made that choice, what would my life be? Where would I be? What would I be doing now? Like I got accepted to the American University in Washington, D.C. with a better scholarship than I actually got at SMU. But I just couldn't make it work. The distance was too hard, and just the logistics of it were too hard for me to make that work. But like, had I gone to the American University in DC, where would I be now? Would I have ever ended up in Dallas? Would I have ever met Todd? Would I have my children? Like just stuff that you think about. Would I be a candidate for president? Like, I don't know. Like this literally, because that's where you go. That's one of the schools you go to if you're very politically motivated or diplomatic or whatever. So Interesting topic. Actually, did not plan to talk about that today. So that's good because I actually don't have a lot to talk about. For dinner tonight, we are having chicken that I'm making in the air fryer, but I forgot to defrost the chicken breast. And so I'm curious, Michelle is saying, you would be Lindsey Graham's other half. LOL. I am too fucking pretty for that, man. No. Nah. And I want to be the effeminate one in the relationship. So I don't think it would work between he and I. I don't even know what that means. So by the way, pardon me, speaking of glamour, pardon me for being Slubby today. Today's just been one of those days where I've had to knock out like a million things. And so I did take a shower, but I put on this t-shirt. We're in that phase now also where I'm trying not to wear the clothes I want to take on our trip. So I'm washing through all that stuff, but then trying not to wear stuff I want to take with me so that I don't have to wash laundry right beforehand. So then it's just like random shit that I'm wearing. I'm literally wearing a red t-shirt, jorts, some cut off jorts. And this is the worst part. I got socks in my Uggs right there. I'm so in a sweatshirt. I am such a fashion plate. That's what I am. I'm a fashion plate today. Because I'm about to go sew some covers for the RV seats. I am making dinner tonight, which, by the way, let me finish that thought. God, I'm the worst at that. I've watched the playback sometimes and I'm like, I said I was going to talk about that and I did not. I need y'all to remind me to get back on track sometimes. Okay? Thanks. So for the chicken, I forgot to defrost them. And so I was like, can I make frozen chicken breasts in the air fryer? Can I do that? How does that work? And I saw that, I Googled it, and Food Network has a recipe for it. It sounds like a horrible, bland white people recipe. It's like some olive oil, salt, and pepper, and that's it. I'm going to put some salad supreme on it and maybe some cheese or mayonnaise or something. Because, daddy don't stay fat all by himself. So I'm curious, so do y'all have any air fryer recipes or tips or tricks or whatever, or just stuff that you might want to research right now for making frozen chicken breasts? Those flash frozen ones that come in the bag. And these are like nuclear. Who knew I would say that many times today? Like the size is huge. Making those in the air fryer. It was like cook it at 360 for 18 to 20 minutes, which seems like a very long time to me. But I guess the lower temperature for longer kind of heats it up without drying it out. I don't know. We will see. I wish Carrie were on right now. She would advise me on such things. But like I said earlier, she cannot be here today. Let's see if she can join us tomorrow. All right, so that's something to think about while you're listening to me rattle on about other things. Chicken breasts. These happen to be Tyson frozen chicken breasts, but frozen chicken breasts in the air fryer. A good recipe for them. Go. That's what she said. I have no idea what that's about. Again, these comments come in about 20 seconds after I've said the thing. So what I'm saying right now, you're gonna hear 20 seconds later. So sometimes then you'll comment and do that. And Brooke says she defrosts the chicken quickly in a bowl of cold water on the counter. That's what I was thinking about doing also, is doing that too. But I would love it because the bag all over it says, cook from frozen, do not defrost, cook from frozen. Like, oh, you said it's huge. That's what she said. Talking about my belly, and my ass and my ego. So all the bag says like cook from frozen. So I'm like, certainly there is a recipe out there to cook from frozen, because when you buy them in the bag, literally the bag like yells at you, cook this shit from frozen, do not defrost it. So and y'all are all saying defrost them. I'm just saying I would love to know if there's a shortcut, because the bag seems to think there is if you cook them in the oven or on the stovetop. So certainly someone out there has an air fryer shortcut too. All right. So boneless and skinless in the air fryer. Maybe you could coat them in grated Parmesan cheese and salt and pepper. Yes, they are boneless and skinless. So what I normally do is I coat them in mayonnaise. This is Carrie's recipe. I coat them in mayonnaise, or like a ranch dressing or some sort of something else, but usually mayonnaise. And then I put this salad supreme salad dressing on them that has like paprika and nut. What are the little nuts that are on top of the seeds? Sesame seeds and all kinds of other spices in it. It turns it orange. It is so good. And then I'll usually add some Parmesan cheese to it, which actually I think we're out of right now. And then salt and pepper. And then that's what and I marinate them in that. And then I put them in all like goopy and slimy with that in there. Kids love it. They call it the orange chicken. It doesn't taste like oranges. It just looks orange. But they love it too. It is so good. Kathy is saying, be careful thawing in water on the counter is dangerous. I actually usually do it in the sink with some warm water in a Ziploc bag and just run it for a little bit under there and then do that. So I don't leave stuff out. Plus, I don't have time. Well, granted, it's only 4:45. Frozen chicken breast cooked the same as defrosted in the air fryer. After cooked, I put sauce on it. Easy peasy. Good pro tip. So, and Carrie told me, because my issue with cooking chicken in the air fryer sometimes is it gets kind of dried out. She doesn't seem to think it does, but maybe we just like our chicken moist. I've said that word moist. And so she said, we thought maybe we were overcooking them, so to do it at a higher temperature for shorter time. But she said, actually, that is the reverse logic. You should do it at a lower temperature for longer to keep the juices in. Otherwise, you kind of make the juices come out. I don't know. I also have a thermometer that we can put in our oven that I may just shove into one of them. But I can't do that if it's frozen. Damn it to hell. But I flip them at one point, so maybe I can stab it in there. And it's got a really thin wire that connects to an external device. So I could still shut the air fryer thing and check the internal temperature. Because that's really all that matters is the internal temperature, right? Yeah. I talked about that a lot more. But moist chicken is so skeevy, gag. Now, I don't like dry chicken. I do not like it if it's moist free. I do not like moist free chicken. I want my chicken almost undercooked. Like it almost has to, like I almost need to be able to see the salmonella that I'm about to eat. Like that's how I like my chicken. Quivery a little bit in the middle. Am I grossing you out? I'm trying to. It needs to be a little bit quivery in the middle. Yeah, gross. That is gross. You're right. Okay, enough about that. I do not like dry chicken either. Yeah, I do not. I cannot with dry chicken. It doesn't matter how much flavor you put on it. If a chicken breast is dry, I do not want it. That's actually why I usually do chicken thighs, but I don't have any chicken thighs because chicken thighs, at least it's almost impossible to make those dry. If I have to gulp water with it, it's true dry. Exactly. Although my sister and I both like our steaks still on the cow. So that is also my other thing is if you can serve me, my sister Monica, she's a little bit more extreme than I am on this, but a steak, Monica just wants you to have pretended to cook it. I at least like it like medium rare. Like it needs to at least not be mooing anymore, but like seriously. And I'm all about, and it's the only way to eat meat. I agree. People overcook it. We were in Africa. This is also a story I did not plan to tell today. So we were in South Africa. We were in the Franschhoek wine region of South Africa, which is outside of Cape Town. Gorgeous. I mean, it is like picturesque. It looks like little Holland landed in the middle of Napa. The whole time I'm like, we're in fucking Africa right now? Like, this is Africa? So we are there, and we're eating at this restaurant called La Petite Ferme, which means the little farm in French. It's a little French restaurant. It is like one of the top restaurants on the continent of Africa. And by the way, and this was in 2005, everything was cheap as shit. It was cheaper to drink wine than water, which I did not mind. And so we're there, and we go to this La Petite Ferme, and gorgeous views of these valleys and the vineyards and this cute little house, a little yellow house that we were in. And they had been converted to a restaurant. It was gorgeous. And we're there with Todd was there on an NBA trip, and I tagged along, and we were there, and this was like the 2 weeks at the end when you kind of got to do whatever you wanted. So we're there with someone, and we're ordering, and she goes, "I want the fillet." She's like, "But I want it well done. If it does not look like a hockey puck when it comes out, I don't want it." And she was real country. I was like, "Girl, you are in like one of the best restaurants on the continent of Africa, gourmet, and you were ordering it like a literally says hockey puck." I will never forget that. Has to be medium rare at the most. Like I don't even want to see gray. I want to see pink or red is what I want to see. My sister says, "Just make the sizzle noise and put it on the plate." Like one of those greeting cards and hey, just next to the plate. Oh, there's a dish in Germany, which I don't think you can do it in America, but there's a dish in Germany where they use raw ground pork and they make it, it's kind of like a tuna salad. It has a whole bunch of just shit mixed into it, but it's raw ground pork and you spread it on like a cracker and stuff. It is so good. So good. Again, raw meat though, it is good. My previous boss from Texas used to say, "Knock the horns off, wipe its ass, and put it on the plate." Must be a Texas thing. I'm a medium rare girl too. Well, medium rare I think is acceptable. I love that. Knock the horns off, wipe its ass, and put it on the plate. That's a great quote. I love that. I love that. What else? Let's see real quick because y'all are making a lot of comments here. A place near us served raw hamburger meat meal. Interesting. Well, y'all, there's a lot of German influence where you are, Monica, so maybe that's the case. I did not think I was going to talk about 17 minutes about raw meat. Okay. Moving on. I saw today, this is a funny story. I saw today that Charlie Pride, this will be the second day in a row I've talked about an old country music singer. Charlie Pride is getting a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Academy of Country Music this year. And like people like Dolly Parton and Willie Nelson and all this have gotten it. And Charlie Pride, if you don't know, is black and he's older. I mean, he's old actually. He's considered like the Jackie Robinson of country music. Like he was literally the only country music singer of color at the time. So lots of groundbreaking stuff. And anyway, so that's great that he's getting it. I have been with Charlie Pride many times. So when I worked at the United Way, right out of college, this would have been 1997, the 1997 United Way campaign, and then I worked the 98 one too. So I'm not sure which year it was. But Charlie Pride, who at the time lived here in Dallas, I don't know if he still does, was one of our campaign spokespeople or whatever. Like so I was with him all the time. Like I've had to pick him up in my car and drive him places and such. That man at the time, again, I don't know if he's turned around, changed his life, gotten a liver transplant or what. You could get like a contact high, but with booze, just being around him. He just waves of alcohol coming off of him. He smelled like a frat house couch is what he smelled like. It was crazy. And funny as all get out. I mean, how could you not be funny if you're drunk all the time, right? Cheers. Very sweet, very kind, very gracious, groundbreaking in his way. But yes, Karen is saying they just interviewed Charlie on Channel 5 News. Yes, it's a big deal. So he must still live here in Dallas if they just interviewed him on the news. I don't know if he's turned his life around, but that man was, and it was always for luncheons. So, because it was a daytime thing that we always did, or campaigns, like we would take him to like big corporate headquarters, like American Airlines or Southwest Airlines or JCPenney. FINA at the time was headquartered here, ExxonMobil, places like that, right? That they were having their big workplace campaigns. And so AT&T wasn't here at the time. Southwestern Bell was kind of in this area at the time. So I like I said, I've been with him at least half a dozen times in my life. And every time I'm like, girl, you reek of booze. I never said that, but yeah. So hopefully he's turned his life. Well, let me say that. So that was, what was that? 25 years ago. So obviously he's either made life changes or he's pickled or if this is good to him. I don't know. Um, but Charlie Pride getting the Academy or not Academy Award, the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Academy of Country Music or whatever it's called. The CMA Awards basically is what it would have been. Here's now sexy Darius Rucker. Meow. Darius Rucker from like Hootie and the Blowfish. Okay, I guess you got a type there. Let me keep track of what I am talking about here because I skipped something yesterday. Oh, Hurricane Eta. Eta? Is that how we're saying? Eta? Eta? ETA, whatever it is. Estimated time of arrival is every day, all day. It has made a turn again. I was talking about this yesterday. That bitch is drunk. Has made landfall 4 times now, I think. Maybe 5, maybe 3. It's news-ish, keep that in mind. But I think it was 4 times now this hurricane has made land. It just keeps hitting shit, going back out. Hitting shit, going back out. So we thought we were going to have to delay or change our plans or whatever. Well, it's decided it wants to go to Tampa and then to Jacksonville and then go back into the Atlantic. So we may be okay to leave Saturday and do our original itinerary because it's not going to hit the parts of Florida and the Redneck Riviera and all that we were, Alabama, Gulf Shores, Mississippi, all of that we were planning to hit. So win for us. So we got to get planning on that now. So we've not booked anything. And I've actually seen people now who have kids in virtual school who started, our friend Grant and Kay, our friends, they got a Mercedes Sprinter van and they outfitted it to have beds in it and such. And they took off today or yesterday. They're roaming around for the next week or two because their kids are in public school, which I think goes to school next week. Our school is out next week. So I don't know what you're saying, Monica. We've been to. I don't know what that means. I think that you've been to Gulf Shores, maybe, Alexi. Keep in mind the 20-second Gulf Shores, yes, the 20-second delay. The sand is great. That is, I will tell you that panhandle of Florida from like what's it called? Panama City Beach west all the way to almost New Orleans, maybe not quite that far, is the nicest sand in North America, maybe even in the United States of America. It may, I mean, Hawaii may have us beat on that, but it is gorgeous. The sand is soft. It doesn't stick to you. It's that powdered sugar kind of sand. The water is shallow. The water is warm. Hawaii does not have warm water, so it's got that. It stays shallow for a long time. It's great. And the water's blue also. God, this glass is reflecting. It looks like I've spilled something on myself. Texas, on the other hand, has beaches that look like the sand is gray and the water looks like yoo-hoo. They're gross. And no waves. Yeah, they don't have a lot of waves. They have some, but not a lot. Texas has got, that's the one fun thing about Texas beaches. So we got the waves that'll knock you out. They'll hold a shark in them right before it eats you. All this kind of stuff. White flowery sand. Aunt Pam is saying, yep, it's gorgeous. Love it. Hi, Pam. Good to see you. What else we talk about? Something funny happened. So there is a young actor named Cooper Koch. I don't know if he says Koch. We say Koch. I don't know if he says Koch or Cook. Same spelling, Koch. And I feel horrible for him sometimes because he's got to follow this first of all. I kid. But I own CooperKoch.com. I own all of the social media platforms. I just, as part of my job, what I do for a living is I know to go out and reserve these things so that no one else can have them. So this poor kid can't get any of his professional platforms in place, right? Well, so I got messaged on Instagram 2 nights ago. I meant to talk about this yesterday. 2 nights ago, I got messaged on Instagram from a woman asking, Are you Cooper Koch, the actor who is on that Christmas movie that I like? And I'm like, sure. Actually, I didn't say sure. I just said, it's so sweet of you to notice, is actually how I responded to her. Because I, funny enough, get mistaken as someone all the time, like a lot. And I've just started saying because I've literally had arguments with people who are certain that I am someone famous. And I think it's the hair. Normally when it's blonde, it's even bigger and stuff. But I'm 6.5 feet tall with between hair and heels, and got the tits out and all that. But I so I just look Hollywood. I don't know, but I'm not thin like Hollywood. But anyway, so I've literally had arguments with people who are like, "No, you are that guy," and I'm like, "I am not." "Yes, you are." "I am not." You don't have to lie." Like I might take a picture with me, and I'm like, "Fine." So I finally just started. The way I respond to people now who think I'm someone is I literally just say, "Thank you for being a fan." That is all I say. That is my trademark response, and it has been Tab Hunter. Now that's an old reference, and I don't hate that at all. Um, but that is my pat answer now is thank you for being a fan, because it doesn't admit that I am that person. It gets them off my back. Half the time, if I take a picture with them and they think I'm that person, I'm not going to be the one that breaks it to them that I'm not that person. And by the time they post it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and people are like, "Who dat?" I'm gone, so it's fine. Like we got one time, I've been mistaken for YouTuber Tyler Oakley before. I've been, which I don't know how that one happened. I have been mistaken for this lead singer of a rock punk band or something called Queens of the Stone Age, I think, Josh something, which I see. And now that my hair is not, his hair is a little bit more red than mine, but now I can kind of see it. Um, and then this guy, I do not look anything like the young Cooper Koch, whatever his name is. He has black hair. First of all, he also was born in 1998. I graduated college in 1997, so he's very young. But he's now in a Netflix movie, a Christmas, like I think it's like one of those Hallmark kind of movies that's on Netflix, like a Christmas Wish or something. And he's like the angel on it. That's shit. Are you the angel? Are you the angel that was on that Christmas movie or whatever? And I just said, "How sweet of you to notice." And then she was like, "Wait, I'm confused." And then she kept going. And then finally she Googled Cooper Koch, and his photo and my photo show up side by side. And it's a black and white photo of me. She goes, "Is this the same person?" And I finally said, "No, I'm the fatty on the right." And she was like, "Damn, I wanted the one on the left." Oh, I just love fucking with people like that. Like not lying, but just like kind of playing with them. I one time was texting my grandmother. I'm totally off topic here. I was texting my grandmother in San Antonio. I'm on the Dallas board of Frostbank, their advisory board here, and Frostbank's headquarters are in San Antonio. So I have meetings here. I had one yesterday actually here in Dallas via Zoom though. But once a year we have to go to San Antonio for this big statewide meeting. And I always text my grandmother and say, "Hey, I'm coming to San Antonio. You want to go to dinner?" All that kind of stuff, right? And sometimes I'll bring the kids with me, or Todd will come down for a long weekend. And so I was texting with her, and she wasn't fucking answering. And finally, I've texted, and I was like, "Did I do something wrong? Why are you not answering?" And I get a text back that says, "Sorry, I've been real busy, blah blah blah," and said, "Who is this?" And I thought it was a joke, and I was like, "Ha ha ha! It's your horrible grandson who hadn't talked to you enough lately." And the person goes, "Well, I don't, I don't have a grandson." I was like, "Actually, you have two." And like, "I think you have me mistaken for somebody else." And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "So you're not an older woman. You're not an older. So you're not my grandmother or something." He was like, "No, my name is Tom," or something like that. I was like, "Oh, so you're not an older woman named Rosemary who smells like scotch all the time." I'm gonna get in trouble for that. I get in trouble for that comment every time I make it, but it's so fun to make. And he's like, "Sorry." I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "So what you doing Thursday night?" And he goes, "No, I think I'll pass." I was like, "Okay, well, consider it an open offer." Oh, I literally get every time I make that comment about, because my grandmother drinks a lot. It kind of runs in the family. Um, she drinks Chivas, which I think is Scotch, right? But one time I was doing a cooking segment because I used to do a lot of cooking things on my daily shows, And I was working with Blue Apron and doing some stuff with that as well. And the kids were helping, and the rosemary was one of the spices. And I said, "Oh, rosemary, smell how wonderful that smells." And they were like, "Oh my God." And this was like 4 years ago, so the kids were like 7. "Oh my God, that's so nice. I love it. I love it." I was like, your grandmother's name is Rose. Your great grandmother's name is Rosemary also, except for she smells like scotch. I swear my phone lit up with all of my aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone like, "You cannot say that." Well, now they all know that I do say that, so it's fine. It's fine. And to those of you watching who actually know my grandmother Rosemary, who I adore, and even though she is not biologically my grandmother, she is my grandfather's second wife. She's my only living grandparent, and I resemble her so much. Like, it's ridiculous how much I am like her, which is both fascinating, fabulous, and terrifying, especially with age. Love you, Rosemary. Love you, grandmother, if you're watching. And if you're my Aunt Ellie or Karen or Shally or my dad or anyone, my Aunt Lois or whatever, were any lies detected? I didn't think so. Oh, I'm off the rails. The only other thing I was going to talk about, and then I'm running over, but I'm going to get it. She keeps it in an old pesticide bottle under the sink. I don't know that that's true, but I think it is. Like, it looks, that looks about right. Oh, Monica, you and I are going to get in so much trouble for this, or everyone's going to be like, "Yep, that sounds about right." Oh, okay. Well, that's it. I don't need to talk about this. I'll circle it for tomorrow. I still can't believe we said all those things. Is she Baptist? Actually, I don't know what she is. I have no idea. It's true. It has a pre-measured squeeze thing on it. And yeah, it's got like it does. It does have like you put it in and then you squeeze it, and it's like one of those, but it kind of has a little thing that does that. But it's like one of those kids mouthwashes that you squeeze and it dispenses the exact amount at the top. It's sort of like that, but this is kind of like a opaque white, more industrial looking thing. So that's why I think it is actually for pesticide. Chevis has washed it out after years and years and years, but she just pre-measures it, all of that. But she has somehow survived, outlived everybody else. Born in October 1933, I think. So what is that? What is age is 33? Do the math on that, Cooper. Do the math on that. Hey, Google, what's 2020 minus 1933?
The answer is 87.
She's 87 years old. She's obviously doing something right. So
sorry,
good.
I don't know how to help with that.
Okay,
Here.
That's enough of you. Okay, well, that's enough. That's enough of that. Let me check the comments real quick. I still like this one a lot. Tab Hunter, good looking man. They just made him different back then, didn't they? He had a kind of big pie face with a big chin like me too, and lots of hair. And I also still love this. Knock the horns off, wipe its ass, and put it on a plate. Love it. I need to figure out a way to adopt that as one of my Cooperisms. So I'm making a list of things that let's get to getting. That's something I always say. It's like, when that means let's go, let's get to getting. Turkey tastes better with tinsel. Can't talk sane to crazy, and stop shooting yourself to death. Those are some of my things. Karen is saying my Google Assistant answered you. Oh, and he was gay. Yay. I also like I don't want to leave the Alexa people out. Alexa, add dog food to my Amazon Fresh cart. We'll see how many people I messed up there too. Because I just love doing that to y'all. Alexa, what's the square root of 89? Anyway. With that, okay, I'm going to say goodbye. I love you. You are loved. It's important to know that. I love that you watch this. This makes me laugh. Today I've laughed a lot. I don't know why this one was particularly funny to me. I hope you thought it was funny. I'm having a great time today. I'm about to go and sew some seat covers for our RV. And with that, I'm going to say bye. I need swag in time for Christmas gifts. Yes, I know. I need to get my. One of y'all want to take that on as a job? I'll give you a cut of the profits. I promise. Let me know. All right, love you, and I'll see you tomorrow for another episode at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Shit Koopa says.